Hello, everyone. Hello, my loves. Let's do that again. Hello, everyone. Hello. There we go. I could even hear you at home. Hello, 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 hello. I want to begin by thanking both Reverend Masando and practitioner Shelley Walker for doing such a beautiful talk. Both of them. Weren't they fantastic? You know, if you didn't get a chance to watch or listen, I highly, highly suggest it. It is actually very important that I get to go to church once in a while, too, so that I can be uplifted and inspired. And I was by both of those talks. Thank you very, very much. I have this visceral memory of sitting on my balcony in Maui going to church. It was so great. It was so great. Our family traveled there in the most COVID-safe way. I need you to know that. The most safe possible way. That is so important to me. To celebrate the graduations of two of our daughters, Flynn from college and McKenna from high school. Yes. It was such a soul-deepening trip for me. In many ways. One of the reasons it was so soul-deepening is that I actually, for 12 whole days, for the first time in 2 years, albeit 2020, COVID, but for the first time in 2 years, did not look at one single work email. Not one. They took care of everything. How blessed are we to be able to have that in place now? And I learned a lot about that and myself, and that's a whole other talk I'm going to save for another day. This talk, actually, I had another talk prepared, and then world events being what they are, I decided to shift and move us into a time of actual, what I go to when I feel turmoil in the world, and that is some deep spiritual practice. Are you up for that today, this morning? Because that's what I need, and so I'm always going to bring you what I need. And So, after the trip from Maui, we went pretty much directly to San Francisco, and we dropped McKenna off at the dorms. Have any of you done that experience? Had that experience? Oh my God. Okay, right? When we send our chicks out of the nest, you know, whether it's college or the backpacking trip or an apartment or life or a job or whatever, when they're out of the house, I'm on number 3. I only got one more left, thank God, because what? It's a lot. It's a lot. And the experience is very much growing me. So there I was in the San Francisco airport. This is an airport that I don't know very well. And my beloved family, David and McKenna's sisters and I, had just dropped McKenna off, waved and dropped her off, and they drove me to the airport. And holy moly, we were feeling all the feels in the car, wiping the tears, all the emotions, happy, so excited for her, and at the same time realizing we're not going to see our precious McKenna until Thanksgiving, until the Thanksgiving break, and that missing and the longing. And also recognizing, as I was speaking with my mom earlier in the week, and she reminded me that, you know, when we send our young ones out into the world, the fact of the matter is they return to us changed. They are not the same as when we sent them out into the world, because life grows them outside of the house, outside of the nest, and that's a big shift. So here I am in the San Francisco airport, feeling all the feelings, you know, and I'm navigating this airport I don't know very well. I get through security. I'm still feeling that thud in the base of my heart, all the feelings. And so I'm distracted, and I'm not at all centered, not even a little bit. I get through security. I look up. I'm in the Alaska terminal, I think. I look up, and I see my flight to Portland, G10. All right, I got to find G10. I'm still feeling discombobulated. I look over here to this side to my left, and I see gates to 10, G10 with an arrow this way. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I go over, and I'm following the arrows, and I'm just about to sort of continue my path, and I look up, and there are those double doors that are closed that have like the neon green signs. Once you go in, you can't come back. Stop, no re-entry. And I'm like, okay. And I know that I'm not centered. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to be sure I'm going to the right place because I need to make this flight. I have talk on Sunday. I need to make, okay, no. So I stop and I go back to the screen. I look up. Okay, G10. Seriously? All right. Okay, I'm going back to G10. Off I go. The big doors. My intuition, what Ernest Holmes used to call my God voice. My God voice stopped me and said, just pause. Take a breath. Take a breath, Shannon. Take a breath. So I stopped. I took a breath. I'm looking at the doors, and my rational mind, in the midst of all the feelings, all these memories from my beloved McKenna are coming to my heart in all the ways over all the years of her 19 years. She's 19 now, that she has blessed my life. And somewhere in that, spirit within me said, stop and take a breath. Okay, God. Okay. So I find a lovely airport attendant. I go up to the airport attendant, and, we're all in our masks. And, so there's a lot of pantomime that happens also, right? Is this the way to gate 10? She says, yes, that's gate 10. Go to gate 10. Okay, I'm going to gate 10. This feels so wrong. I don't know why this feels wrong, but I have never in my life been about to, go to the entrance of a plane and had to go through double doors that said no re-entry. Thinking to myself, if I go through these doors, and this is the wrong place, I'm going to have to go through security again. My God voice, spirit, stops me again. Shannon, Eileen, for the love, take a breath. I'm breathing, God. I'm very confused. I'm breathing. I go back to the screen, G10. All right, I go back to the woman. Excuse me, I'm very sorry to bother you. I'm doing this. I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're busy. G10? Really? G10? Through the doors? She says, yes, darling. G10, through the doors. For your international flight. You have to go through the doors. Oh, I'm not flying internationally. You're not flying internationally? No. Well, you're in the right place. G10 is right there. Thank you. All right. So I turned around. Literally, it's right there. G10, Portland. The time and the arrival. Behind my literally, I'm standing there and I am guffawing like this. I'm also kind of crying because of McKenna, and I'm laughing. And we're laughing with each other through our masks. And I realized in that moment, as I found a little spot for to sit, away from everyone, and I realized that it was funny because I chuckled to myself knowing that I was giving a talk today called Staying Centered in the Midst of It All. So, have you ever been in a situation where you have felt so much emotion about something that you are just not in your body? That the simplest of things seem so difficult, so confusing, hard to navigate. Anyone? Just me? Anyone? You at home? Okay. So, it was in that moment when I found my little table and I sat by myself that I remembered to breathe, that I took in what Spirit was saying to me. And it was in that moment that I started my Pranayama breathing practice, which is a breathing practice that I have engaged in for many, many years, and I thought I would bring it to you today. And part of the reason for that is that there is so much going on in the world right now. So much happening in the world, affecting us in different ways, that even if you are not in the midst of something very emotional right now, there are news stories, there are situations happening in this country and around the world I'm going to get to in a moment, that are impacting us. As human beings, as people of faith, they can't not be impacting us. In the Hebrew Bible, it says, the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. That's in Job. If you're familiar with Job, had a hell of a time. Spirit, God, source, Spirit was reminding Job to breathe. To breathe. The healing power of the breath is found across ancient traditions. Now, we in New Thought do not subscribe to the idea that there is only an almighty head figure, Godhead figure outside, up in the sky. We understand that the almighty power of love, of spirit, is within us, within each other, around us, and through us. That this is love. This is the breath of life. This is the breath of love within us. This is the wind in the trees. This is that which makes the ocean move. Now, the word pranayama is derived from two Sanskrit words. If you practice yoga, you are familiar possibly with this. And there are various definitions of this term. One interpretation is prana, which means life force, and ayama, which means expansion or expanding the life force using breath. In many traditions, that life force is God, is spirit, is source within us. The ancient yogis learned that by controlling the breath, we can support and influence every aspect of our lives. And we forget this all the time. I know I do. I did. Absolutely 100% when I was in the airport. So if I say to you right now, just take a deep breath. Just do this. Take a deep breath. Okay. So oftentimes, when we take a deep breath, we naturally start at sort of the mid-chest level. Take a deep breath. Okay, now what, Shans? What's next? Okay, that is not the breath I'm talking about. I'm talking about the breath of the ancients, because that kind of breath does not have the therapeutic, deepest healing and centering benefits that the ancient centering breath that was taught for thousands of years has. Most of us in the West were not taught the art and the spiritual practice of the complete breath or the Durga Pranayama, the long breath. You know, when you catch yourself sighing after something stressful, I know I sighed standing there when I realized gate 10 was right there. That is the body's way of releasing stress. It's the body's natural way of releasing tension. Our body wisdom, our body temple knows this, right? So scientific research has finally caught up to the profound healing benefits of the slow, deep breaths that the ancients knew. Science has taught us that the benefits of a regular practice of conscious deep breathing reduce anxiety and depression. Deep breathing, the kind of practice we're going to step into here in a moment, lowers or stabilizes blood pressure. It decreases feelings of stress and overwhelm. It increases energy levels. It improves our immunity. It's been known to show reduction in PTSD symptoms. So much more, so much more. Durga Pranayama is an ancient and powerful spiritual tool specifically designed to center us. And so that is what I would like for us to move into. And you can think of this as a 3-part breath, okay? We have many spiritual practices in our teaching, and we teach ancient New Thought. And one of the practices that I want us to begin to engage in as a community is conscious breath work, because this is actually exploding. If you follow social media or any of the places, so many communities and places, secular and faith communities, are beginning to understand the power of the breath, and it's really very simple. So instead of beginning your breath in the chest area, like many of you just did because I saw it, I'm going to invite you to begin the breath in the belly. And it's not this part of the belly, it's the lowest part of the belly. It's like the floor of your belly, if you can visualize that. So what the breath looks like is you start at the bottom of your tummy, and you bring the breath gently up through your solar plexus, expanding your rib cage, and then up, and it actually expands up into your collarbones. And you hold it for a moment, and then allow that breath to float gently all the way back down. Okay? So I'm going to invite us to do that together. You may want to close your eyes. You may even want to place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Those of you at home, I invite you to do this along with us if you choose. Now I want you to just feel, visualize that sense, that part of your body at the bottom of your belly, and take a breath from there. Allowing it to float gently upward, expanding your rib cage all the way up to the collarbones. Expanding those collarbones, holding that for a moment if you can, and then very gently releasing that breath back down, allowing the rib cage to soften and all the way down, allowing the belly to soften. Let's do that another time. The deepest breath you can possibly take from the bottom of your abdomen. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Rib cage, collarbones, and gently, gently back down. And on this third one, I invite you to feel that Almighty Spirit, that light of God, of grace, of source, of spirit, whatever word works for you, at the bottom of your belly in the breath. Feel God within you, Spirit within you, love within you, light within you. Take that breath in, allowing Spirit, source, love to fill you all the way up, all the way up. Those collarbones expanding, and then very, very gently floating back down. Feeling that spirit, that hug of love as you exhale. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. And just for a moment, I invite you to notice how you feel. Just notice. Notice how you feel. You can do this anytime, anywhere, any place, even an airport. That's what I did for a very long time at G10. Now that we have breathed deeply together and we are that much more centered, I want to share with you that it was not lost on me that the experience that I was having in San Francisco, here in America, with our precious daughter, as we sent her off to college, and the experience that so many Afghan parents are having right now with their daughters. That was not lost on me. And I would be remiss if I did not bring that into our experience this morning. The ache of what is happening across Afghanistan is palpable. And I want to be very, very, very clear here, because this is not really taught in the West. The Taliban are the furthest thing from true Muslims. They are terrorists. To be a true Muslim requires mercy and compassion. That is number one, to be Muslim. It is in the very definition of what being a Muslim is. In the religious context, the word Islam is derived from the Arabic word salam, which means peace. That is what that religion stands for. And it is so misunderstood. When I teach my course here in New Thought on the World's Religions, the week that I teach on Islam is always the most heated, the most questions, and we have the most experience of healing. Staying centered in the midst of it all is the title of my talk today, because we are in the midst of so much, from so many different directions. Yes, staying centered in that belly breath. We are navigating not only all that's happening in Afghanistan, but that which is happening in Haiti as a result of the earthquake, that which is happening with the storms, the climate crisis, COVID, the hospitals. It's a lot, my beloveds. It's a lot. And in order to be a benevolent presence on this earth during this time, which I believe so firmly that each one of us incarnated to be, we must have spiritual tools to navigate this time, to support, to be the helpers, to stand firm in our faith. We must stay as centered as we possibly can. Does this mean that we always will be? No, but it means that we have an awareness, as we understand awareness is curative, yes? And so when we are off kilter, when we're about to go through those double doors where there is no return, if we can remember to stop, to pause, to take a breath, to look up in the other direction, it will not only serve us, but it will serve everyone around us. There's a quote floating around social media, and I haven't, as much as I've tried, I haven't been able to attribute an author to it. So please let me know if you have found it. I tried and I tried. The quote is this: "This, my dear, is the greatest challenge of being alive, to witness the injustice of the world and not allow it to consume our light." To witness the injustice of this world and not allow it to consume our light. One of the best ways I know how to do that is to practice sharing our light, sharing our love. We in New Thought teach that we are all connected on the seen and unseen sides of life. There is no separation between you and me, between the people in Afghanistan or Haiti, or people who are in the hospitals in Alabama, our healthcare workers, God bless them. There is no separation. There is no difference between them and us. We are one. We are all of the same stardust. We are all God's stuff. We are all of spirit. And this is why we are so clear. We're so clear that, as science is now finally being able to prove, affirmative prayer or the exchange of positive energy, if that works better for you, it works. It has healing benefits. We know this. The ancient world knew this. And I believe our scientific future will live by this. We have only begun to tap into the healing power within us. And let me be clear, it's not us. It's spirit within us. It is divinity within us. It is God within, spirit within that doeth the work. So when we hear about pain in the world, we have two choices, my friends. Two choices. We can be sympathetic, which literally means to feel pity or to feel sorry for someone. Or we can be compassionate, which literally means to feel with someone, to feel with them. It is only from the place of compassion that we can truly harness lasting change. It is only from the place of compassion that we can truly harness lasting change. And so I want to expand on the Durga Pranayama, that breathing spiritual practice that we just did, in order to be a force of good in the world. Are you ready? All right, so let's first begin. And I would, lovingly advise you to always begin everything with that deep 3-part breath. So if you want to close your eyes or not, you can cast them downwards, whatever it works for you. Feel from the bottom of your belly that unconditional love of spirit, that light within you, and allow it on the breath to rise up, allowing the rib cage to expand, and moving up your torso, allowing the heart to expand and open, up to the collarbones, allowing them to expand. Hold it for a moment. And then very gently exhaling, feeling that same love, that light, that grace, that divinity within you. Now I invite you to open your eyes if they're still closed. And from this calm, centered state, we're going to do this again, only this time we are going to send all of that love out to the places in the world that are calling for it. So here's what that looks like, my friends. You still center in, visualize that spirit within you, that place within you that has never been hurt or harmed in any way, that place of unconditional love that lives within each one of us, that part of you that is so good. Tune into that light within you, that spirit within you, that place within you that is God, that is Source. You're going to take that deep, nourishing breath. And nobody knows when you're doing this, by the way, just so you know. Take that deep, nourishing breath. And just as you bring it all the way up here to the collarbone, I invite you just to do a very gentle motion. You can extend your hands this way if you want to be more subtle about it. Sorry, Shayla, I moved really fast, didn't I? She's like, wait, Shannon, stop moving. Okay, you bring that up, and you can just do this. Or if you're a person who is kinesthetic or a kinesthete, as I talked about in my talk a few weeks ago, you can extend your arms all the way this way. And what we're doing is you take that breath of God within you, and you offer it. You send it forth to heal and bless the people in Afghanistan or Haiti or Alabama or your family or wherever, your neighbors. Okay? All right, so we're going to do this together. So place your hands gently on your lap, taking in a deep breath from the bottom of your abdomen. Allow it all the way. Allow it to expand that breath. If it helps you to move your hands up, you can. Feeling that love within you, that light within you, God within you, Source within you. And as you move all the way up to the very, very, very top of that breath, feeling your collarbones expand, I invite you to just offer all that light and that love and that grace and that divinity and that healing and that safety and that courage and that Source energy to all the people traveling from Afghanistan, in Haiti, in all the parts of the world that are experiencing any form of violence, racism, pain, sickness, illness, COVID, all of it. Give them your light, your love, your Source. You have an infinite wellspring of this. Just allow it forward. Allow it to be sent forth. And then exhale. You can bring your hands in. Move back to that same place of love within you. We're going to do this one more time. Taking in a deep breath, the breath of God, the breath of the Almighty love within you. All the way to the top. And allow it to be your offering. Send it forth to heal and bless the world. To all the places. Knowing this energy is felt. Affirming spirit, love, Source is felt. That love is right where they are. And then bringing it back to your heart. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Do you feel how the energy shifted right here in our outdoor sanctuary? I'm certain it's shifted where you are, beloveds watching online. Anytime we offer love, we give love, we are a beneficial presence in the universe. It elevates our own energy field. That's how it works. That's how it works. You can do that exercise anywhere. I highly invite you to do it while watching the news. Or if you are driving and you're listening to NPR, keep your eyes open. But you can visualize, you can take a breath, and you can expand that love right to where it's being called for, right to where it's needed. I want to complete today by letting you know that we here at the New Thought Center for Spiritual Living are dedicated not only to affirming, to praying, and to sending our love, but equally to putting our love to our feet and taking compassionate action in every way that we possibly can. That is ours to do. And as some of you know, some of you might know, in my former work as a community organizer, I worked with organizations in Colorado that supported, at that time, Syrian refugees. This is dear to my heart. And our Afghan refugee siblings are going to need all the help that they can get. I am following closely the refugee resettlement organizations in Oregon. And as the situation continues to unfold, it's all very new, but as it continues to unfold, I will keep you posted about how we might be able to partner with some other faith organizations to help sponsor some families who may be relocating here to Oregon. How does that sound? Yes? Are you with me? All right. And for those of you watching across the country in different places in the world, I invite you to do what is yours to do in your communities. There's so many magnificent organizations that are working so diligently and so hard right now. Please know that a portion of today's collection will go specifically to helping Afghan women and girls. And in addition to that, I asked our circulation team to please, over the next several months, give a portion of our collection to support the Afghan people in ongoing efforts. So today's will go specifically to women and girls because I spoke about my daughter, and I feel that that is very, very important, and know that we are going to continue our efforts. We will be giving to the International Rescue Committee Afghanistan, which is a long-vetted organization that has been supporting the Afghan people over the last 3 decades. So beloveds, this week, to stay centered in the midst of all that is going on, I'm really going to invite you to focus on your breath, the breath of life, the breath of the Almighty Spirit that is love itself. I invite you to begin this spiritual practice of Durga Paraham, or just if it's better for you, you can just call it the 3-point breath, belly, rib cage, collarbone, that works too. And just practice this breath as you can to center yourself up and down through your torso, and then again to offer that love, that spirit within you to places that need it, so that we can send this breath of light and love out into the world to create more peace within ourselves and help to create more peace in the world.